A resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Clayton County recognizing the contributions of Donnie Ray and Donnie Hood to the citizens of Clayton County, to request the Attorney General of the State of Georgia to institute a formal investigation of the District Attorney's Office in Clayton County to provide an effective date of this resolution for all purposes.
Any comments prior to motion? Hearing none.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Ready for the question? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any statements after the vote?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Rao.
let me just say that there's an issue that has just the untimely demise of Mr. Hood is one that has affected each and every employee of the county. He was well known, well respected, well loved, and had in many ways represented a pillar of service for Clayton County employees. He was incredibly engaged and took a tremendous amount of pride in his work. Even prior to his untimely demise, we had some concerns as a board as relates to the issues that were raised as part of the lawsuit. With that, the board felt compelled in its due diligence to assure the citizens of Clayton County that those issues were looked at seriously by the board, that those issues would be turned over to somebody that would be fair and impartial, that has the ability to help provide the citizens with comfort that the offices of this county are exercising their considerable amount of power and authority in the best interest of the citizens. And so that's the reason why I supported this resolution, because I just felt that after hearing such serious allegations, that it was not only incredibly important, but that it was a moral imperative that we make sure that that office, the District Attorney's Office, functions within full compliance with the law.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I just want to add to Commissioner Rao. As far as knowing Donnie, I think we all know you just couldn't find a greater guy than Donnie Hood. And it's just terrible how this thing has just transpired. We've seen it in this room where people would just bring in a note, not signed, that just read off, any kind of allegations they want about anybody. And it's just terrible that this is what we've stooped to this level with, especially with someone like Donnie or any of our county employees. I've witnessed this twice on two of our employees, when people just say things and you have no proof and you really don't know the situation. So again, I wholeheartedly support this resolution, because we just cannot, even ourselves, we cannot just be attacked, and just because someone says something, and then it just builds and it builds, and we're subjected to all of some of the things what Donnie has gone through, some of the things I myself have gone through. And again, I support this resolution.
I want to thank you all for voting to support this resolution. Ms. Singleton, you are correct. It is time that responsible leadership in this county stand.
You're here.
Stand not only in this situation, but any other situation.
There you go.
You're here.
It is difficult for me to speak about Donnie, and so I won't. And I'm going to ask his attorney to enumerate it further. But this is the final straw. This board will not sit idly by and watch our employees drug off of their jobs and drugged from their homes for the sake of someone's personal gain. And it's not just not going to happen. Counselor.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is Bill Atkins. It has been my honor and singular privilege to represent Donnie Ray Hood for just 1 month. That's how long it took to know the kind of man I was fortunate to represent. On behalf of his family, on behalf of his wife of 43 years, who I learned at the funeral, met him when she was just 12 and married him when she was 17. On behalf of his brother, his sons, his daughter, and his grandchildren, I express their gratitude, their appreciation that you had the courage to stand up in this public room and with no secrecy, with no hidden agenda, honor this man. That took courage. It is a courage that I submit to you has been sorely lacking in certain parts of this community.
Yeah.
Hear, hear.
I say to you that I became a lawyer 14 years ago to represent men like Donnie Hood. I became a lawyer because I had a profound belief and faith in our system of justice. And I tell you, as I stand here today, that for the first time in my life, that faith is shattered. It is shattered by what I experienced in my effort to represent this good man in this county with this district attorney. It was an investigation shrouded in secrecy, hidden from the very agency that allegedly was the victim of this crime. Your own police chief was never interviewed, and yet he is the person who brought the flag to Donnie Hood 2 years ago. An investigation conducted entirely in the district attorney's office. An investigation that resulted in a motion filed, a notice filed by an office with absolutely no authority to threaten this good man with the loss of the one thing that he held dear, something any public servant, Ms. Singleton, you couldn't have said it any better. Anybody who's worked in government as long as Donnie did, they worked for a pension. That's what they worked for. He retired early, took less pension so he could ensure that he took care of his wife, Pat. And let there be no doubt about what caused him to go to this desperate act. That notice was filed on February 27th. 2 days later, he killed himself. He killed himself for one reason and one reason only. He wanted to protect his wife. He feared that he would not be able to prove his innocence in this county, with this justice system,
Hear, hear.
with
Hear,
this
hear.
district attorney.
Here.
He feared it so much that he took his own life rather than take even the slightest risk, that his dear wife would lose the one thing that would keep her in her home for the rest of her life. This is a tragedy, and it is my hope, it is my firm expectation, and it is my pledge to this family that however long it takes, no matter what has to happen, I will, with your help, with the help of the Attorney General's office, and with God's help, clear this man's name and lift this unnecessary cloud from him and from this county. The time is now. I thank you for your courage.
Thank you, Counsel.